Delhi is choking, literally. The air we breathe is slowly poisoning us, turning every breath into a struggle. Every year as winter sets in, a thick blanket of smog engulfs the city, making visibility poor and breathing difficult. The air quality index shoots up to hazardous levels, warning us of the invisible danger lurking in the air. Breathing in Delhi becomes like smoking packs of cigarettes a day, a grim reality for its residents. This isn't just about a bad cough or itchy eyes anymore. It's about long-term health consequences. This is a full-blown health emergency, overwhelming our healthcare system. Thousands of Delhiites are dying prematurely because of air pollution, a silent killer. Respiratory diseases, heart attacks, lung cancer, the list goes on, affecting people of all ages. Our children are the worst hit, their young lungs struggling to cope with the toxic air. Their cognitive development is being hampered, their future jeopardized by the air they breathe. The elderly, already vulnerable, face increased risks of stroke and other ailments, making their golden years a struggle. It's not just our health that's suffering. Our daily lives are being disrupted. The economy is taking a hit too, with businesses and tourism suffering. Productivity plummets as people fall sick. Healthcare costs are skyrocketing, putting a strain on families and the system. Tourism is down, as who wants to visit a city shrouded in toxic air? Our reputation is at stake. Delhi's air pollution is a crisis on multiple fronts, costing us lives, money, and our future. Yet those in power seem content to play political games while Delhi suffocates. We have had enough. It's time to call out this environmental injustice for what it truly is, a political scam of epic proportions. We must demand change now. Let's be clear, Delhi's air pollution is a complex problem with no easy solutions. The city's air quality has been deteriorating for years, and it affects millions of residents daily. However, the primary culprits are well known. Despite numerous discussions and meetings, the root causes remain largely unaddressed. First and foremost is the annual ritual of stubble burning in neighboring Punjab and Haryana. This practice is deeply ingrained in the agricultural cycle. Every year, farmers set fire to millions of tons of crop residue, releasing toxic smoke that engulfs Delhi. The smoke travels hundreds of kilometers, affecting air quality far beyond the fields. Then there's the city's ever-growing fleet of vehicles. The number of cars, trucks, and buses on the roads has skyrocketed. With over 13 million vehicles on the roads, vehicular emissions are a major contributor to Delhi's air pollution. Traffic congestion only makes matters worse. Lax enforcement of emission norms and the prevalence of old polluting vehicles exacerbate the problem. Many vehicles on the road are not compliant with current standards. Add to this the dust from construction sites and industries operating in and around Delhi. Construction activities generate a significant amount of particulate matter. Unregulated construction and the presence of polluting industries in the national capital region add to the toxic cocktail. Industrial emissions are a major concern. Finally, we can't ignore the role of weather. Seasonal changes play a significant role in air quality. During winter, a phenomenon called inversion traps pollutants close to the ground, leading to a spike in pollution levels. This natural occurrence worsens the already dire situation. While we can't control the weather, we can certainly control the other factors contributing to Delhi's toxic air. Public awareness and activism are crucial. Yet year after year, the problem persists, raising serious questions about the government's commitment to tackling this crisis. The time for action is now, before it's too late. While Delhi chokes, our politicians are busy playing the blame game. The Aam Aadmi Party, which governs Delhi, points fingers at the Bharatiya Janata Party-led governments in Punjab and Haryana for stubble burning. The BJP, in turn, blames the AAP for not doing enough to control vehicular and industrial pollution within Delhi. This political blame game has become a convenient smokescreen, diverting attention from the real issue, the lack of concrete action. The Graded Response Action Plan implemented to control pollution is reactive and poorly enforced. Odd-even schemes, while well-intentioned, are merely band-aid solutions that have little impact on overall pollution levels. Meanwhile, policies aimed at addressing the root causes of pollution remain stuck in bureaucratic limbo. The much-touted electric vehicle policy has failed to take off, with electric vehicles still a rarity on Delhi's roads. Stricter regulations on industries and construction activities are met with resistance and delays. It's clear that powerful vested interests are at play, hindering progress and putting profits before the health of millions. The most shocking aspect of Delhi's pollution crisis is not the lack of solutions, but the blatant misuse of funds meant to address it. Crores of rupees allocated for pollution control measures have mysteriously vanished into thin air with little to show for it. The Comptroller and Auditor General has repeatedly flagged irregularities in the utilization of funds, exposing a deeply entrenched system of corruption. Remember the green tax levied on diesel vehicles entering Delhi? A significant portion of that money remains unaccounted for. The Clean Air program, launched with much fanfare, failed to achieve its targets. Smog towers, touted as a technological solution, stand as expensive and ineffective monuments to government apathy. This is not just negligence, it's a scam. A scam where public money meant to safeguard our health is being siphoned off, leaving Delhiites to choke on toxic air. This blatant disregard for public well-being exposes the true priorities of those in power. It's time to demand accountability and expose this environmental plunder for what it truly is. Section 5. Public fury and legal recourse, a fight for clean air. Delhiites are no longer willing to be passive victims in this environmental disaster. Public anger against the government's inaction is palpable. People are taking to the streets, demanding their right to clean air. Citizen groups and NGOs are filing lawsuits, holding the government accountable for its failures. The Supreme Court and the National Green Tribunal have intervened, issuing directives to curb stubble burning, control vehicular emissions, and manage waste effectively. Schools are being forced to shut down, parents are worried sick about their children's health, and the city is grappling with a public health emergency. Yet the response from those in power remains lackluster. It's a classic case of too little, too late. The fight for clean air in Delhi has become a fight for survival, a fight against a system that prioritizes short-term gains over the long-term well-being of its citizens. Section 6. Lessons from abroad cities winning the pollution war. Delhi is not alone in facing the challenges of air pollution. Cities around the world have grappled with this issue, and some have even managed to turn the tide. Beijing, once notorious for its hazardous air quality, has made significant progress in recent years. Through a combination of measures like phasing out coal-fired power plants, promoting electric vehicles, and implementing strict emissions standards, Beijing has managed to reduce its PM2.5 levels significantly. Mexico City, another city that once choked on smog, has seen remarkable improvements in air quality by implementing strict no-drive days and investing in public transport. These examples demonstrate that tackling air pollution is not an insurmountable challenge. It requires political will, effective policies, and a commitment to enforcing them. Delhi can learn from these success stories and implement similar measures to clean up its act. The solutions exist. What's lacking is the will to implement them. Section 7. The biggest scam, political opportunism and corporate greed. The tragedy of Delhi's air pollution is that it has become a tool for political opportunism and corporate greed. Political parties exploit the issue to score brownie points, blaming each other while offering no real solutions. The corporate political nexus ensures that industries continue to pollute with impunity, their profits taking precedence over public health. The real estate lobby resists stricter regulations on construction activities, while the automobile industry drags its feet on transitioning to cleaner technologies. The burning of fossil fuels continues unabated, despite the urgent need to switch to renewable energy sources. This nexus of power and greed is the biggest scam of all. It's a scam that thrives on public apathy and ignorance, a scam that is slowly choking the life out of our city. Section 8. Enough is enough. Time for action, Delhi. The time for blame games and empty promises is over. We can no longer afford to wait while our health deteriorates and our environment suffers. Delhi's air pollution crisis demands immediate and decisive action. The air we breathe is toxic, and the situation is getting worse by the day. We, the citizens of Delhi, need to rise above the political rhetoric and demand accountability from our elected representatives. It's time to make our voices heard. First and foremost, we need transparency. We deserve to know where our money is going and how it is being spent. We need to know how pollution control funds are being utilized and hold those responsible for any misappropriation accountable. Every rupee must be accounted for. We need stricter enforcement of existing regulations, with heavy penalties for violators. No more leniency for those who pollute our air. Second, we need to make informed choices. Knowledge is power, and we must use it wisely. Support candidates with a clear plan to tackle pollution. Look beyond their words and examine their actions. Vote for those who prioritize public health over corporate interests. Our votes can bring about real change. Third, we need to become agents of change. Each one of us has a role to play. Adopt sustainable practices in our daily lives. Small actions can lead to big impacts. Choose public transport, cycle or walk whenever possible. Reduce your carbon footprint, plant trees, conserve energy, and spread awareness about the importance of clean air. Every effort counts. Delhi's air pollution crisis is a collective failure, and it demands a collective response. We must come together to fight this battle. Let's reclaim our right to breathe and build a healthier, more sustainable future for ourselves and generations to come. The time for action is now.